If you were asked who is the greatest stuntman to ever live, you would most likely say Tom Cruise and Jackie Chan. That's expected. The both of them have done some insane things, from hanging onto a plane hundreds of feet in the air to sliding and running down a skyscraper with no wires or safety nets. These great stunts have cemented them into film history amongst the greatest stuntmen to ever live. But what if I told you that there was someone better than them? A man so good that Tom Cruise and Jackie Chan has copied his stunts multiple times. An actor who with no sound was able to tell amazing stories. A man who laughed in the face of danger. He stared death in the eyes and didn't even blink. His name is Buster Keaton. He was born on October 4th, 1895. He rose to fame for pioneering silent film comedy. But before that, he was a child prodigy who acted in his family's show, where his dad would beat him.
What would your father do to you then, Buster, in the act?
Well, if he caught me, I got it.
But Buster was so good at acting that his father would frequently get arrested for child abuse.
Parents were quite often arrested, thinking that they were mistreating him. And then Buster would have to go down to the chief of police, pull off his little shirt and pants, and show them that he had no bruises or broken leg.
But after his father's alcoholism worsened, it threatened the family's business, so he left. He went on to pioneer silent comedy, creating innovative stunts that people quickly fell in love with. In his movie, 1 Week, he created a rotating set, and about 90 years later, it got adopted by Christopher Nolan in Inception, showing just how ahead of his time he was. His stunts were impressive, but his visual comedy was in a league of its own. He was able to tell jokes and make audiences burst into laughter without ever saying a single word. His history is not just impressive, but outstanding. He was amongst the first actors to ever refuse to use a double. By doing all his stunts by himself, he was testing the limits of the human body. He performed death-defying stunts. His history is fantastic, but Tom Cruise scaled the tallest building. In Police Story, Jackie Chan scaled down a pole covered in fairy lights several stories high and smashing into the glass roofs. So you must be wondering, what has Keaton done that puts him above greats like Tom Cruise and Jackie Chan? I'll prove to you that not only is he better than them, but they don't even come close, by going over some of his most elaborate stunts to show just how much better he is compared to his competition. In his movie The Three Ages, Buster Keaton planned to jump from one building to another, but failed. Later on, he changed the stunt so that when he jumps from one building to another, he would fall through multiple awnings, catch a pole, which would then swing him through a window and down a fireman's pole. This stunt was so good that Tom Cruise copied it in Mission Impossible Fallout. In one of his movies, Buster Keaton jumped down a hill, tumbling down hundreds of meters. He'd fall out of buildings would fall on him, and in one of his most daring stunts, he planned for a 2-ton building to fall on him, with the gap being just 2 inches between his shoulder and just 4 inches above his head. If you want to support me, click the like and subscribe button. I'm the only one that does the editing, script writing, voiceover, and makes the thumbnail and does every other thing for this channel. So please, sub, it will mean the world to me. The house falling stunt was his most popular one. It got copied by Jackie Chan, Arrested Development, Weird Al Yankovic's Amish Paradise, and so many more movies. To do this scene, he had to find a copper nail in the dirt and stand on it. He also performed a train stunt, which was so good and had such high tension, it was copied by Kingsman and many other films. This scene had no safety. If his leg got caught under the gaps of the train, it would have undoubtedly been crushed. And his deadliest stunts of all was one where he holds open a full tank of water. Then thousands of gallons of water comes crashing down onto his head, breaking his neck and fracturing his cranium. Then he walked it off and continued acting like nothing happened. The way people even found out he broke his neck was when he went to the hospital and got an x-ray years later, revealing the old injury. He once stood in a den of lions, and in case you are wondering, they were not sedated. They were not giving mouth guards. Some say he didn't get attacked because lions don't eat metal balls. He did a stunt where he was splitting between two cars that was copied by Victor Van Damme in his Volvo commercial. Unlike Tom Cruise and Jackie Chan, who work with extensive teams of experts, engineers, and stunt coordinators that assess, plan, and choreograph their stunts, Buster had none of that. His films were made in the 1920s. There were no stunt teams calculating his risk. There were no stunt experts or safety guys that helped him do things. It was just him. He was largely involved and responsible for designing, managing, and performing his own stunts, relying on his meticulous calculation, precise timing, and personal experiences. That's why Buster Joseph Frank Keaton is the greatest stuntsman in human history.